Good evening. Last lecture, we started looking after the history of C language, data types, constants, keywords like that. Integer and real constant, what we have seen so far. We are interested in knowing what is basically a character constant. I think Nihal or someone, Nihal asked me to explain keywords last session. Keywords are basically reserved words. So its meaning is explained to the compiler, right? Last time I think I gave you some one example, a real life example, that of sir in your college. So that sir is exclusively reserved for a faculty member in your college. That is just analogy, what you can say to understand. So there are somewhere around 48 keywords whose meaning is explained to the compiler. That's it, right? And these are reserved. What do you mean by reserved words is that you won't be able to use those words as a declaration of variables. That's it. So you cannot declare variable as int. You cannot declare a variable having name as float. You cannot declare variable having name as double. So its meaning is that limited to that only. Okay? And there are only 48 keywords. So we can make no billions of combinations. So as far as naming of variable is concerned, we should not have any problem. The meaning of keyword is that there is a set of each language has got set of keywords which are reserved, which are exclusively um, for compiler. That's it, right? Now we have seen last time integer constant and real constant. Its features we have seen, at the same time the range of that, then modifier. Some modifiers are there like unsigned int. So unsigned is a modifier. How many bytes are reserved for integer constants? How many bytes usually are reserved for real constants? What are the keywords for that integer constants? I mean integer data type. So int is the keyword, right? Then for real constant there are keywords like float as well as double. So double is also what we can see is a built-in data type. Right? These are built-in data types. In the first five, what you can say, chapters, we can say chapters. The first five chapters till the function chapter, we will be using languages, I mean C's built-in data types. There are three or four terms. One is a built-in data type or built-in constants. It means language's own constants, right? These are built-in. These are also called as a primary data type. These are also called as primitive data types, right? Or primitive constants. So if somebody asks you what are the primitive constants, you can say integer, character, and float, or integer, character, or real, right? Float is the keyword. In a true sense, basically, built-in data types are integer and real. Okay. Character is a kind of integer data type, right? So I will explain that during our session. But character internally is what you can say cousin of integers, right? Because when you store a character constant, it is stored as an integer. So that is about the real constant and integer constants. We stopped, I think, here. Okay. So basically, character constant is written. There was one question, I think, in the your small test quiz, and somebody made, I mean, couple of students made a mistake. Whenever you store a constant, it has to be character constant has to be stored in a pair of single quote, right? Not double quote. When you write something inside double quote, that is a string, right? It is not a character constant. What is string? String is an array of characters. Even though there is a single character, it is an array of characters, right? That is very important. So it must be enclosed in a pair of single quote. When you assign that, right? In question of assigning is there, assignment is there in the program. You need to put it in in a pair of single quote. Why we need to put it in a pair of single quote? Only because then only compiler will understand that you are trying to store character constant. Then only. Otherwise, it won't be able to understand what you are trying to store. I will explain you using the program, because character constant is something uh, which is not taken seriously by beginner programmers, and they make a lot of mistakes while dealing with the character in all chapters because it is ignored. Huh? It cannot store. Some word is missing. I think it cannot store more than one character. That is very important, right? It cannot store. Usually, it takes 1 byte of memory. Usually, right? As far as Unicode is concerned, 2 bytes of memory is. But as we are concerned, we will not be dealing long with Unicode character set. Unicode character set is a character set where character of any language in the world, whole world, okay, can be represented. So be it a Chinese character, be it a Japanese character, right? UV characters, or whichever characters are there in the world. This can be stored. That we call it as a Unicode encoding system. As far as C language is concerned, we will be dealing only along with the character constant, which takes 1 byte of memory. And when 1 byte of memory is there, it's obviously its range is -128 to +127. I think there was a small mistake, typo mistake was there in the examination. I think because I went through that solved papers by you, solved and submitted papers by you. I think there was a typo mistake. So somebody, you might have made that mistake because of typo mistake, but let it be. Okay, for me, points are not important. How many points you got, that is not important for me. What is important for me for conducting test is you understand more. So I'm quite sure when you got that, when you submitted that paper and you got the result, okay, at that time you might have understood a lot apart from these our 4 sessions in the past. Okay, so that was basically intention. And at the end of today's session, we will take a review of that, uh, not whole test, whole quiz, but whichever problem you faced or you couldn't understand, or if you want more, you want to know more about any particular question, then we will have a look at that, right? Particular question. Then one mistake I have made here at the end, int is not the keyword, char is the keyword. So in India we say it is a char. In Europe, I think in United States, okay, they call it as a char, right? So both, I mean, you should know that. Okay? So they call it as char in United States. So if you go through those videos which are developed by American instructors, right? You may find that they call it as a char, right? In India, probably because of British English accent, we call it as a char. Okay, both are permissible. There is no problem. Huh? Keywords, I have talked about that. Special reserved words, right? Variable, name given to the memory location. What we call is the variable, right? So it can be um, It can be a combination of alphabets and digits. As far as special symbol is concerned, only underscore is allowed. Okay, only underscore is allowed. No other special symbols are like at, dot. Like in the email they allow, but not here in C language. Only allowed special character is underscore. Hmm? And rest you can uh, make a permutation combinations while naming the variable. While naming variables, make sure that or take care rather that as far as possible name of the variable should be meaningful. Okay? X, Y, Z, I, J, K, these are okay for counter variables or some trial assignments. Okay, practice programs. That X, Y, Z is okay. Okay, but when you solve any particular problem, the name of the variable should be meaningful wherever it is possible. Okay? That is good programming practice. The name of the variable should be meaningful. Name of the variable should not be too small or too large. Okay, uh, definitely each language or each compiler rather has set some limit, the minimum number of characters and maximum number of characters. Maximum number of characters for DOS based C. In earlier DOS based C was, I think, that Turbo C. 32 characters were allowed. Now it is somewhere around, I think, 255, 256 characters are allowed. Okay, but 256 is just the highest limit they have put. Who will write a variable name having 256? It is really rubbish. Okay. So there is no rule as such, but they should be meaningful at the same time. They should be concise, right? Concise. Hmm. It should not be like variable name should not be like a name of a student in a college. No, not necessary. Okay, that is weird, I think. So you can declare variable name as char name. That's it. So name is a name. At the same time, you can uh, declare a variable of char student underscore name. That is also good because name whose name student name. But there should not be a blank space. Blank spaces are not allowed while naming variables in C language. Everywhere rather, not in C language. All programming languages blank space is not allowed. Even dot is not allowed because dot is an operator. It is reserved for some other purpose. So that's why it is not allowed. Hmm? At the same time, variable name should not start along with digit. That is not allowed. You can declare variable as num1, num2, right? One as a digit, but it should not be one num, one x, okay, 2x. This is not allowed. It cannot be a variable name, right? So we will see all these details while writing program. Okay. So basic structure of a C program. Okay. So any C program, it has can be logically divided into four parts. One is the type declaration. Type declaration is declaration of variables. That is what we call is the type declaration. Why type declaration is given important? Because you need to store some constants and you need variables. Okay, and when you need variables it should have data type, proper data type, right? So that is very important, and I told you data type is like a uh, container, right? And what you store, it is actually what contains. So container and contains, and that container has got some name. So it is like that. So there was one question, I think intentionally I took that quiz before this session. Okay, I just wanted to uh, know how far you have understood the C language. Okay, so uh, many students, I think, I don't remember, but I think 3 out of 4 or all 4 made a mistake as far as that question is concerned. Declaration of variable in C has to be done at the beginning of, no, I mean, anywhere in the program you cannot do like that. Okay? In Java it is valid, in C++ it is valid, even Python it is valid. But in C it is not valid. You have to declare all variables at the beginning of a program. Okay. The true definition is the declaration of variable in C has to be at the beginning of the block. But if I tell you what is the meaning of the block, you may not be able to understand. When I'm going to teach you, I think storage classes chapter, at that time I will talk more on the block concept, right? Block. Or even next couple of chapter I will explain you, because storage classes is our almost, second last or third from the last chapter. So I will not keep you waiting up to that time. I will talk about the block within next couple of chapters. So for time being, now we can say that declaration of variables have to be done at the beginning of the function. Okay, and we will revise that definition, and it will, the revised definition will be declaration of variables in C have to be at the beginning of the block, right? How block is defined, when block is created, that we will see afterwards, right? So that is one part of a any C program. Then second part is input output statements. So there are various statements in C language. Statements are terminated by semicolon. Most of the statements you can say, excluding control structures. So there are input statements, there are output statements. Output statements is, for timing we can say that uh, printing something on the console. Console is that black window, okay, DOS based window that we call it is a console. Console is basically monitor. So printing something on the monitor, sending output to the monitor. So some functions are there like a printf. So these are output statements, and some input statements are there like scanf, right? Then other functions are there also. So get C is there, get S is there. So a lot of input statements are there. So that is a part of any C program. Third is the arithmetic instructions or arithmetic statements or arithmetic expressions. So arithmetic expressions or statements is a combination of operators and operands. So that is how arithmetic expression is can be written, right? So when you write sum is equal to x plus y, so x here is a operand, y is a operand, plus is a operator, equal to is a operator, right? And again sum is also a operand. So sum x y are called operands. So operand can be a variable or a constant, right? Okay. While explaining you the program, I will revise all these concepts. This is the theoretical aspect of any C language program, basic structure of C language. And then control structures. So there are in all 4 control structures. So sequential control structure is there, loop control structure is there, decision control structure is there, and switch case or case control structure is there, which is also called as a menu-driven programming. Now, in this chapter, we will be writing programs where each statement of a program is executed 100%. Okay, so there is a sequence. Okay, predefined sequence is there, and no statement is omitted by the compiler. No statement is omitted by the while execution of the program. Each statement is executed, right? That we call it is the sequential control structure. So all 4 control structure will be there in the future, right? So type declaration, I have explained you all variables must be declared before its first use. This is written in technical way. Okay, so if somebody asks you, your answer should be variable in C have to be declared before its first use. So the moment you are going to use all variables. Before that, you have to declare those, right? Must be declared at the beginning of the block. I'm going to explain that uh, in next couple of chapters. It asks compiler to reserve memory. So what is the intention of declaration of variable? It is a request. Okay, it is a request. It's an intimation to the compiler. I'm going to use this variable. I may need this, right? And for that, allocate some memory and reserve space on the memory. What do you mean by memory? Now you should be able to recall that. When I say memory, I mean data segment, right? I think you can recall that. And to the size of an operator, I will explain for that. Size of is an operator which gives you number of bytes reserved for that any particular data type or variable, right? So that we call it is the type declaration. Arithmetic instruction, we will finish all these slides and directly go for writing a program, right? Simple program. Arithmetic instructions. So I told you arithmetic instruction or an arithmetic expression is a combination of variables, constants, which are basically operands and operators, right? So definitely, when we talk about arithmetic expressions, we have to use arithmetic operators. In this chapter, we will be using somewhere around six operators, or six arithmetic operators, right? And one assignment operator. C language basically is a very rich in operators. Almost 50 plus operators are there, which has got a variety kind of meaning. Hmm? Dennis Ritchie has intelligently used various special characters on the keyboard and given a separate meaning. So if you use the ampersand, so that we call it as the address of operator. If you use a pair of square brackets, that is a notation for an array, right? If you use the what we can say star multiplication operator, then multiplication operator, that star has got multiple meanings. That star is also called as the indirection operator when we use the pointer. That star acts as a um, multiplication operator when you use it between two operands, because star operator acts as a unary operator and binary operator, right? So there are three categories. One is a unary operator, binary operator, and ternary operator. Unary operator needs one operand, right? Minus 5. So 5 is an operand and minus is operator. So here minus is unary minus, right? So lot of unary operators are there. Not operator is there. Logical not. I think you have learned that. That's why I'm telling you. Logical not operator is there. Ampersand operator is there. Right? Size of operator is there. That is also unary operator. Huh? Then plus operator is there, because if you write x is equal to plus 5, this plus is a unary plus, right? So there can be unary minus. Huh? Pointer operator is there, that is a star, right? Mm. So that is a unary. So a lot of unary operators are there. Then another is the binary operator, hmm, where you need two operands. Now, mm, x divided by 5, x divided by y. So here division is a binary operator, right? Because it needs two operands. Hmm. Assignment is a binary operator because it needs two operands. When you write x is equal to 5, okay, the best way to read this statement is 5 is assigned to x instead of x is equal to 5, because in a true sense that is not equal to operator, that is an assignment operator. Equal to operator is the one which is used in while taking decisions or while comparing two values. We use the equal to operator, right? So that is a binary operator. There is one more category in C language, which is in C++, which is in Java, and even Python there is. I mean, in Python it is there, but some modifications they have made. But it is a ternary operator. So ternary operator needs three operands. Hmm. So very handy operator. We are going to use that. We are going to understand that. We are going to see there what are the rules for that. Okay, so that everything we will see in the next chapter, right? So there is operators and there are operands. Okay. Now I talked about L value and R value. Hmm. So when you write a statement as x is equal to 5, okay, that 5 here is a constant. When you write x is equal to y, here y is a variable. When you write sum is equal to x plus y, here x plus y is an expression. Okay, so x is equal to 5, 5 is a constant. X is equal to y is a variable, and sum is equal to x plus y. Here x plus y is a expression. Okay, so listen carefully. In C, in C, variable or a constant or an expression on the right hand side is assigned to variable on the left hand side, right? That's very important. I will repeat. In C, variable or a constant or an expression on the right hand side is assigned to variable on the left hand side. So on the left hand side, there has to be a variable. Okay. To that, we call it as the L value. Okay. And then what is the R value? The value at the right hand side. So R value can be a variable, R value can be a constant, or R value can be a value of a expression. So there is RHS, right hand side and left hand side, right? Now, associativity and precedence. You have made mistakes while almost all of you have made mistakes. Okay, so I'll explain that while writing a program. Associativity is what we call it as whether a particular expression is solved from left to right or right to left. That we call it is a associativity. Right? In C, each operator has predefined associativity. So whether the expression is solved from left to right or right to left, that depends upon operator, right? And precedence is there. What is precedence? Precedence is priority. To which operator priority is given. Like in mathematics, we have seen actually associativity precedence, if you can recall, right? Hmm? On the like bracket we solve first while solving expression in mathematics, you can recall when something is written inside brackets we solve it first. What is that? Bracket has got higher precedence, higher priority. Okay, so various rules are there as far as associative and precedence is concerned in C language. So we will discuss in detail about all these arithmetic instructions, right? And there is a input output, right? So printf function is there, scanf function is there, and format specifier is there. Okay. So we will write. I will write a program. Hmm? We can say it is our first C program. So I will be discussing about input output, that is a printf, scanf, and format specifier. At the same time, escape sequences. That is very important. Okay. Second thing is we will talk about arithmetic instructions. Okay. So I will talk in detail while writing program. At the same time, I will talk about type declaration. So how variables need to be declared, where those need to be declared, and everything. What should be name of the variables? Everything I will discuss. I will talk about general structure of the C program. So everything I will, whatever I have taught you, while giving you or sharing or imparting you theoretical aspect of C language. Okay? Though while writing program, I will cover all these concepts, okay, and explain simultaneously. Let me talk about this first. The students have got some misconceptions about compiler and IDE. Okay, code block is not a compiler. Let me no, let me clear that first. Code block or dev C++. Okay, these are not compilers. These are basically IDE. What is IDE? IDE is kind of a platform, kind of a framework. And I have explained you about platform and framework terms, right? So IDE, they call it is an interactive development environment. So it is environment. So what is the nature of that environment? It is, what is the purpose of this environment? Development environment. So we can develop something here. So that is the development environment. And what is the nature of that? It is interactive. Okay. What is the meaning of interactive? It means when you type the code, it also interacts along with you. So it gives you suggestions, it gives you warnings, it gives you errors, it shows you everything. It has got some color system, color coding system. So it tells you, it speaks along with you, it tracks along with you, it communicates along with you. That is why it is interactive development environment, right? So compiler is a part of that. So ID is a kind of a bundle. ID is or what you can see is a package, right? There is a tour package. Okay. Why we call it as a package? Because it has got everything. I mean, it gives you to and fro rail tickets or air tickets. It includes or they make provision for the lodging and boarding, they make arrangements for some local transport or lot of facilities are there. They make arrangements for their complimentary breakfast or sometimes breakfast in the morning as well as some snacks in the evening. So that whole expenses that whole package inclusive of all expenses on all amenities, all facilities, everything they give you in a kind of a package, right? So that's why they call it as a package, tour package, right? They make visa arrangements if you are going out abroad. So code block or any IDs are like that. So they have got a compiler, they have got a linker, they have got a preprocessor, no? They have got a lexical analyzer, they have got a editor, they have got a debugger. So everything is there. Okay. Right? In earlier days, it was not like that. When we wrote programs in DOS-based Turbo C compiler, it was not ID. It was not ID. It was just you can say it was just a compiler. Okay, it was editor was also there. Some debugger was there, but facilities were less. Okay, it was not in an interactive mode, right? On the contrary, these IDs are very intelligent. So sometimes they call it is a intelligent development environment, not interactive. So they actually guide you, right? Uh, so we will write a program, right? Our course program, you can say. So there is an option, create a new project, right? A lot of various um, tools are there. Okay, because this ID is not limited to the C language or console-based C applications. So various other dynamic link library can be there, static library can be created, Arduino project can be created, where uh, We write some programs for hardware. Okay, some Fortran application, but Fortran nowadays it is almost obsolete. Okay, so Fortran is there. Fortran DLL we can return, but now all these are obsolete. Okay, uh, a couple of them, if required, I will show you in the future. But I have not used them heavily. These are basically what you can say. It is like our mobile phone. They give you a lot, okay, and part of that it is useful for us. The rest part is no not useful for us. Okay, its use is limited. So when you open any project, create. I mean, you want to create a new project. Basically, each ID has got their own method of creating project. The process is same. Okay, interface might be different or sequence might be different. Right, the process is same. So create a new project. Right, we want to write console application. Right, so select and go. You might have done all these things. Then select this which project. So project in C you want to write or project in C++ you want to create. Then next here give the name of the project. Okay, this is the name of the project. So its extension is not C. Its extension is CBP, Core Block Project. Right. So meaningful should the project name should be given. Now I will write first project, right? Our first project. Right? Now see here I have given the name of the letter of the project word I have made as a capital, right? Okay, this is one style of giving file name or project name. Okay? So you can give like this, or you can give it instead of small p, we give it a capital P. Okay. So readability is increased. This naming convention is also called as a title case, or it is also called as a camel case, right? Camel case. So first project, you can see here project file name as .cbp. You can change this, but unnecessarily we should not change. Let it be like this. You can change this, but should not touch because it is ID. It is suggesting you the best practice. So instead of tampering along with them, leave it is as it is. Okay, leave it as it is. And here you can choose the folder. That is very important. I mean, student give the name here and they do not save the project in a proper way. So when no, but today you are not supposed to write in the program along with me, but I suggest from next time onwards, or at the most day after tomorrow, you can say, right? Onwards, you can write programs along with me, and at that time, you should have your own folder on C drive or any drive as per your convenience, and there should be your own folder having proper name like C language or C projects, okay, or uh, what you can say practice folder, whatever name you can remember, and inside that there should be various names of chapters, right? So various folders should be there, chapter wise folder should be there, and inside that folder we will be saving our projects. Very important. Okay, students save projects anywhere because they do not look at this. You do not at all. I mean, if you are done in the past, you can recall that. So you can select the folder. Okay, I don't think this is. I should teach you this, right? So whatever folder you have created, select that subfolder. Also select that subfolder. And as far as I am concerned, here I have created a folder like engineers batch, right? Engineers inside engineers batch, I have created one more subfolder as general structure of C program. right? So that is the folder. Inside this folder, no folder is there, right? Um, One project sample 01 we have created, I think last time, right? So general structure of C program, and various folders are there, decision control, loop control, that I have already created. Whatever programs I will write, all these will be in the first chapter, all these will be in this folder. So I can find them easily. Huh? If somebody of you ask me to send the source code, I can go there, open that project and send or share source code along with you. Okay, so that is big benefit, because this my computer might be having somewhere around 15 to 20,000 programs, I think, right, over the years. Maybe more than that, I don't know, I don't remember other. So select properly the folder and said okay, and then you will give the okay. Okay. So resulting file name you can see here. So this is engineers batch general structure of C program first project dot cpp, right? So there is a first project folder. Inside that first project dot cpp will be automatically created. When I say next, okay, here if you have been using code block compiler or IDE rather, you should not have any problems. But if you have not and you are going to install it, then you should, because lot of compilers are in this world. Okay? Enormous compilers are there. Hmm? So for code block, since we have downloaded from that, okay, this is the default GNU GCC compiler. Okay, it is better to choose this compiler, because when you download the code block, it gives you compiler as well. Okay, compiler is a separate software. So you are telling the ID that I will prefer GNU GCC compiler, right? A lot of compilers are there. Here you can see Microsoft Visual C++, Borland C++, Digital Mars, OpenWatcom, CYJVin, LCC compiler. Lot of compilers are there. So select this GNU GCC compiler and finish that. The project is ready now on the left hand side. So this main.c will be automatically created. This is automatic source code. Okay. What we call it is a framework. So basic framework they have given. You don't need to write that int main, this, that, opening curly brace, closing curly brace, return 0. And this even fly in inclusion. Okay. This you are not supposed to remember and write those. Okay. This basic framework is ready. Now, when whatever I had taught you today, so I think you might be knowing this. Okay, this is a commenting. Commenting can be done in two ways. One is single line comment, another is multi-line comment. Okay, single line comment is slash a pair of forward slash, two slashes, right? And in case of multi-line comment, it will be slash star and star slash. So whatever you write inside these comments, these statements will be ignored by the compiler. That is very important. So whatever you write here, it will be ignored by compiler. So for what reasons commenting is required? Commenting is for two purposes. Okay, rather three purposes. One, commenting is about description of the whole program. This is the first use of commenting. So here I can give description as this is a first program to explain, to understand, okay, basic and we can see general structure of any C program. For this reason, I am going to write this program. This is what comment is. Okay. We can also add. This is a by default facility is also there. Okay, for some compiler, for some IDs, or you can give that. Okay, this program has been written by was my name. Now, this is main function. Hmm? Students have got query. What is basically a main? Is that reserved words? No, it is not a reserved word. Then what is that? It's the name of the function. Why it is function? Because it is followed by a pair of round brackets. At the same time, it is followed by a pair of curly braces. You may see pair of round brackets and curly braces are also for the if control structure or the loop control structure or a switch case control structure. You may say that, and that is quite obvious. But here it is a function because it has been taught to compiler like that. It has been taught to the compiler that this is starting point of program execution. There was one question about main function, whether a program can contain multiple main functions. Okay, program cannot have more than multiple main function. It can have only one and only one main function because on the basis of main executions can be started. Hmm? When program is sent for execution, it searches for main function in your program. Hmm? And that is where control goes inside that main function. The first time the control will come here while execution of the program. I'm not saying while compiling the program. See, compilation, students easily are trapped during interview or a viva. I have seen those, even BE computer students. From where compilation of the program starts? I ask the question. Immediately students say from the main function. Because he feels that compilation and execution are same thing. Compilation and execution are different things. Compilation is just conversion of source code into machine code. Compilation process is just translation of a code into 0101 format. Right? So compilation of the program never starts from the main function. Execution of the program starts from the main function. Very careful. So from where does the compilation start? Compilation starts from the first line. As simple as this, right? Now, what is how that main function is called inside the operating system? There is what I told you. I think last session. I was talking about the operating system. Basically, it is called a system call. It is a kind of interrupt. Okay. So that interrupts now let's compile a operating system to call this function. So once this function is called, control is transferred to your program. Control is transferred to this file. Okay, then this manages now. Okay, that is why we write there return zero. Return zero is intimation to the operating system because operating system has called the main function. Got that? Fine. So I'll declare some variables. So what program I will write? I will write here, okay, to find what? To find cube and square of a number, right? Cube and square of a number. Students, when um, write a program, they don't know how to declare variables, how many variables are required. Hmm? So for that, some paperwork is required. Okay, so you can say here I can write algo or algorithm. Here I am writing this. Okay. You don't need to write, but you can write as well. Okay. So you can write uh, next some provision of space in the memory. Okay, by type declaration. Right. Then uh, assign values or take input from the keyboard. Right. There might be possibility that you assign values or take key input from the keyboard. Right. Then now for this you need to prompt the user for user input. So let's declare some variable like suppose int num. Okay, num is name of the variable, right? And how many what we are going to find the square of a number and cube of a number. So we should declare one more variable as int cube, right? And multiple variables can be declared on a single line. So int square, right? Now the name of variable reflects num might contain a number. What type of number? Integer. Cube, it might contain cube. Square, it might contain square. See, on the basis of name, compiler will not calculate automatically square and cube. Okay. In cube variable, you can store temperature as well because that is just name of a variable. Am I right? No. What next step? Take input from the keyboard. So you can write num is equal to suppose 5. That's it. What is this? What is this? Assignment. This is called assignment. Why it is called assignment? Because the expression, this is arithmetic expression, right? This has been written as num equals 5. So 5 is on the right hand side. This is the equal to operator. Students have some made mistake here as well in some of the quiz questions, right? This chapter will be extremely slow because lot to be taught. Okay, in this chapter because lot of because the more time I spent in this section, less time I will have to spend in the sections in the future later on, right? So this is the assignment. hmm, This is the assignment. IU is assigned to now. So when you declare these three variables, for num, 4 bytes of memory will be allocated. For cube, 4 bytes of memory will be allocated. For square, 4 bytes of memory will be allocated in the memory. Right? If you want to see that, I will show you afterwards. Suppose I write here printf address of num. I will write percent u, right? And I will comma percent num, right? Address of cube, address of square, right? We'll write address of cube, address of square. Right? So if I run this code, it will print the memory addresses of num, cube, and square. So this is the memory address: 642268, 6460. These are memory addresses, right? Now you will get these some different memory addresses when you run this program on your compiler, your IDE. Okay? It will be different. Even tomorrow, suppose I run this program, I will get different addresses. Not tomorrow. Very immediately, I come out of this program and again I run this. I may get different addresses. Right? I may get because memory is given when you run the program. So these are addresses. Huh? I will remove this. Now here this ampersand is a address operator. Ampersand is a address operator. This is our format specifier. Right? Now we are going to print the addresses. And addresses cannot be negative. That's why this is a convention that we use the %u as a format specifier. If I use that %d, okay, I try to run the program. It works. There is no problem. Problem will be there if this address goes out of range of integer, right? So as a precautionary, because we know that address is going to be 100% positive. So we use that %u. %u is format specifier. What is format specifier? You are specifying how to print that. So you are telling the compiler print address of num which is going to be unsigned. So U stands for unsigned, right? So you are telling that. And in detail printf statement I will explain it. Okay. But here also I can explain this. Okay. So print f. This f, a few people call it as a print and f stands for function. Okay. But mm, it can be it can be defined in a better manner as print and f stands for formatted, right? This printf function is a formatted output function. Because you can print the information in a formatted way, the way you want you can print that. Okay, so if I write here, suppose address of num is like this. Okay, so it will print like that. That is why we call it is a formatted, right? So whatever places you have put in a printf statement, these are printed as it is, right? So that is a formatted output function, printf, right? Now, since it is a function, it has to be followed by a pair of round brackets. The first argument is always a string. What is string? Whatever you write inside a pair of double quotes, that we call it is the string. So first argument has to be a, whatever is there, it is dumped on the monitor. Whatever it is there, it is dump, completely dump. Throw. Where? On the monitor. Except format specifier and escape sequences. So these will not be printed as it is. Okay. When printf function is executed, okay, this is a function, this is executed inside the machine, right? When this is executed, it will go on dumping all the characters till it comes across format specifier or escape sequence. So it will go on dumping A D D R E double A space O F space N U M space colon space. This much it dumps directly. Okay. Then it comes across percent. When it comes across percent, it understands that something is to be picked up from the memory, from the memory address. This is not picked up from the memory address. This is directly available inside the string. But this is not to be picked up from memory address. It understands that something is to be picked up from the other end. It goes at the other end. So it goes here, right? And it reads that. What is num? So it checks, yes, there is a variable called num. But there is ampersand num. So contents of num are not to be printed, but address of num is to be printed. So that address of num will be printed here. At which location? This location. Right? Wherever that percent u is there. And how it is printed? How it will be printed? In unsigned integer format. Percent u is format specifier for unsigned int. So that will be printed in unsigned int format. But and then there is a slash n. What is slash n? It is an escape sequence. What do you mean by escape sequence? You are telling the compiler that escape from the normal meaning of following character. नाही काय कळालं नसतं. परत सांगतो. Escape from the normal meaning of following character. परत नाही कळालं नसतं. परत सांगतो. फॉलोइंग कॅरेक्टर कुठला आहे? एन. त्याचं नॉर्मल मिनिंग काय आहे? एन. एस्केप कर म्हणजे ते जे रेग्युलर मिनिंग आहे एनचं ते तू घेऊ नकोस. मग काय घे? मी सांगितलंय ते घे. म्हणून स्लॅश. मग स्लॅश एनचा अर्थ काय आहे? न्यू लाईन. म्हणून न्यू लाईनला कर्सर ने असं त्याला सांगितलंय. सो दॅट इज एस्केपिंग फ्रॉम द नॉर्मल मिनिंग ऑफ द फॉलोइंग कॅरेक्टर. फॉलोइंग म्हणजे पुढचं जे येत आहे ते. कळलं? इथे जर टाकलं नाही समजा असंच लिहिलं तर तो काय करेल? कर्सर काही पुढच्या लाईनला लिहिणार नाही. तो हे स्टेटमेंट जे आहे हे व्हेरी नेक्स्ट कॅरेक्टर सुरू करेल. कळलं की नाही? इथं काही त्यानं कर्सर नेक्स्ट लाईनला नेला नाही. म्हणजे तर त्याला तसं सांगितलेलं नाही ना तुम्ही. त्यामुळे हाच तर सी लँग्वेजचा फायदा आहे तुम्हाला. छोटा सुद्धा आहे पण फायदा सुद्धा आहे. तुमच्या हातात फुल कंट्रोल आहे. त्यामुळे तुम्हाला ठरवायची गाडी कशी चालवायची. फास्ट चालवायची का व्यवस्थित चालवायची, का स्लो चालवायची, का छान चालवायची, कशी तुम्हाला हवी तशी चालवू शकता. फास्ट चालवून कुठे धडकायचं तर तेही करू शकता. म्हणजे बिकॉज स्टीअरिंग अँड ब्रेक एव्हरीथिंग इज इन युअर हँड. So that is the greatness of C language. That is the strength of this language. That is the power of C language. त्यामुळे मग मला कुठे पाहिजे न्यू लाईन? तिथे तुम्ही न्यू लाईन टाकायचा. तिथे पाहिजे तर तिथं घे. मी म्हटलं इथे पाहिजे तर इथे स्लॅश एन लिहायचं. दॅट्स इट. तो तिथे टाकेल तुम्हाला स्लॅश एन. ADDR टाकलं तिथे स्लॅश एन आला. पुढचं त्यानं इथे टाकलं. It is as simple as it is. Right? समजा मी इथे टाकलं आर तर तो काय करेल? करेल. समजा मी इथे आर लिहिला. ठीक आहे? तर तो काय करतो? तो काहीतरी भलतंच करतो. दाखवतो काय भलतं करतो ते. हे बघा ऍड्रेस ऑफ क्यूब आणि ऍड्रेस ऑफ स्क्वेअर आलं. कसं काय? काहीतरी भलतंच झालं ना. तर आर म्हणजे तो काय करतो? आर म्हणजे हे प्रिंट करतो हे सगळं. आणि तो कर्सर आहे तो परत त्या लाईनच्या सुरुवातीला नेऊन ठेवतो. कर्सर लाईनच्या सुरुवातीला नेऊन ठेवल्यामुळे त्याच्या पुढचं काय येतं, तो तिथं प्रिंट करायला सुरुवात करतो. म्हणजे आधीचं जे लिहिलेलं आहे ते घालवून टाकतो. म्हणजे स्वतःच प्रिंट करतो आणि स्वतःच एरेज करून टाकतो. त्यामुळे ते फॉर्मॅट स्पेसिफायर खूप वेळा कामाला येतात म्हणून ते डेनिस टीचीनं दिलेले आहेत. ठीक आहे. आर म्हणजे काय? आर मीन्स कॅरेज रिटर्न. कॅरेज रिटर्न म्हणजे काय? तुझा तो कर्सर आहे तो कुठं ने? परत लाईनच्या सुरुवातीला ने. खूप वेळा अशी गरज असते आपल्याला. हं. तर त्या-त्यावेळी तुम्हाला मी सांगेन कुठे गरज असते. आपण मॅक्सिमम वापरतो तो /n आणि /t. राइट? टी म्हणजे काय? वन टॅब. ओके. सपोज मी इथे टी लिहिलं /t. राइट? /t. /t. राइट? So if I run this code, हे बघा /t म्हणजे असं पुढं नेलं ना त्यानं. बरोबर की नाही? इथं का नेलं नाही? अजून एक करा /t. 8 कॅरेक्टर्स पुढे नेतो तो. 8. आता हे कसं बघायला जरा बरं वाटतं ना? नीट. It looks neat, right? And that's why we call this printf function as a formatted output function. Formatted. हे कसं दिसायला जरा नीट, छान, डोळ्याला बरं वाटतं मगासच्या पेक्षा. /t म्हणजे तो 8 स्पेसेस पुढे नेतो कर्सर. जेवढे /t एक /t म्हणलं की कर्सर त्या ठिकाणापासून 8 स्पेसेस पुढे नेणार. 8 कॅरेक्टर्स पुढे नेणार. सो दॅट इज अ /t. एस्केप सिक्वेन्सेस खूप आहेत. म्हणजे /n आहे, न्यू लाईनला नेण्याकरता कर्सर. /t आहे, 8 टॅब स्पेस पुढे नेण्याकरता. /r तुम्हाला दाखवला, कर्सर सुरुवातीला नेण्याकरता. ठीक आहे. /a आहे, /a टाकला तर तो तुम्हाला बीप असा आवाज देतोय. ओके. तुम्ही तो कॉम्प्युटरवर तुमच्या लिहून बघा. तर मी इथे केलं तर इथे बीप येईल. तुम्हाला ऐकू येईल का नाही माहित नाही. पण मी लिहून बघतो इथे येतो का ते. /n /b /a लिहितो. /n आणि /a. राइट? बघूया तो बीप असा आवाज देतो का? जरा काळजीपूर्वक बघा ना तुम्हाला ऐकू येतो काय? मी जरा स्पीकर मोठा करतो म्हणजे तुम्हाला कदाचित ऐकू येईल. I'll run this. आला ना? आवाज आला. दॅट इज अ हार्डवेअर इंटरफेस. बघा ना. तुम्ही एक नुसता /n लिहून तो स्पीकर कॉम्प्युटरच्या स्पीकरला तो सांगतो एकदा वाज म्हणून. गंमत आहे ना? बरोबर की नाही? हे बघा. मस्त तो. तर तसं पूर्वी वापर करायचे ते. खूप वेळा युजरला मेसेज देण्यासाठी काहीतरी तो झोपला असेल इकडे-तिकडे बघत म्हणून /a टाकायचे. म्हणजे बीप द्यायचे ते. असं पूर्वी प्रोग्राम करत होते. आम्ही करत होतो असे. तर दॅट इज अ /a. अजून काही बाकीचे आहेत ते त्या-त्यावेळी तुम्हाला सांगेन. त्याच्यानंतर प्रिंटफ स्टेटमेंट साधारणपणे तुम्हाला समजलं असेल. त्याच्यानंतर ही आहे असाइनमेंट. py इज असाइन टू num. आता py इज इक्वल टू num असं चालत नाही. असं जर तुम्ही केलं तर तो काय करेल? बघा लगेच एरर दिली त्यानं. त्याला कळत नाही काय म्हणतंय ते. हे बघा इथे म्हटलं त्यानं काय म्हटलं तुमचं एल व्हॅल्यू रिक्वायर्ड ॲज लेफ्ट ऑपरंड ऑफ असाइनमेंट. झालं? एल व्हॅल्यू रिक्वायर्ड म्हणजे काय? तिथे तिथे व्हेरिएबल पाहिजे. कॉन्स्टंट नाही चालत त्याला. त्यानं साधारण तुम्हाला हिंट दिली की एल व्हॅल्यू रिक्वायर्ड. मी तुम्हाला सांगितलेलं आहे. On the left hand side there should be a variable. On the right hand side there can be a variable, there can be a constant, there can be a expression. म्हणजे असंही असू शकतं. समजा मी हे आता काढतो. ठीक आहे. इथे असं सुद्धा चालेल ना? 5 नाही. समजा 4 + 6 असंही असू शकतं. दॅट इज व्हॅलिड. काय तो 6 आणि 4 10 स्टोअर करेल ना नम मध्ये. हे एक्सप्रेशन झालं. हे एक्सप्रेशन पहिलं सॉल्व्ह होणार, मग ती व्हॅल्यू नम मध्ये स्टोअर होणार. झालं. इथे आता हा ऑपरांड झाला, हा ऑपरांड झाला, हा सुद्धा ऑपरांड आहे, हा ऑपरेटर आहे, असाइनमेंट ऑपरेटर, आणि हा ऍडिशनल ऑपरेटर, प्लस ऑपरेटर, विच इज अ बायनरी. याला बायनरी का म्हणतात? हे 2 ऑपरंड आहेत ना, म्हणून बायनरी. हे असं लिहिलं नाही तर चालेल का? नाही चालणार. 4 प्लस म्हणजे काय? तर तो चालणार नाही. कारण त्याला सांगून ठेवलेलं आहे ना, हा प्लस ऑपरेटर हा बायनरी आहे. त्यामुळे त्याला सुधरत नाही काय करायचं ते. त्याला म्हणजे कंपायलरला. तेव्हा एरर एक्सपेक्टेड. आता कसं आहे, आता मी तुम्हाला टोकनचा एकदा सांगणार होतो बघा. काय टोकन म्हणजे खूप काय काय असतं. त्यांना ऑपरेटर वापरलेलं नाही. सेमीकोलन टोकन म्हटलंय. तुम्हाला काही गोष्टी सांगितल्यानंतर मग मी टोकनचा अर्थ सांगणार. टोकन म्हणजे काय? तर त्याला तो सगळ्या एरर ह्या परफेक्ट सांगेल असा काही भरोसा नाही. तो लोकेशन सांगेल. लोकेशन सो आता अप्रॉक्सिमेट सांगतो. परफेक्ट लोकेशन सांगेल असं काही नाही. त्याच्या पुढे मग जरा बघायला लागतं. म्हणजे समजा मी सेमीकोलन इथे नाही टाकला, तर तो या ठिकाणी एरर दिला पाहिजे ना. तो त्या ठिकाणी देणार नाही. हं? इथे नाही टाकत, इथे टाकत नाही समजा. तर तो एरर या स्टेटमेंटला दिली पाहिजे ना. त्या स्टेटमेंटला देत नाही. तो पुढच्या स्टेटमेंटला एरर देईल. तेव्हा पुढच्या स्टेटमेंटला देतो. सांगेल तो सेमीकोलन राहिलाय म्हणून. हा ना. कुठे दिलाय तेव्हा. एक्सपेक्टेड सेमीकोलन बिफोर प्रिंट. तर नशीब त्यानं बिफोर प्रिंटेप म्हटलंय, म्हणजे साधारण बिफोर म्हणजे इथे चालतं. तर असं ते एक्सप्रेशन असतं. त्याच्यानंतर आता ही असाइनमेंट आहे, पण समजा व्हॅल्यू घ्यायची असेल आपल्याला, तर आपण काय लिहू? मग इथे लिहू ना आपण स्कॅनएफ. मग याच्यामध्ये काय लिहायचं विद्यार्थ्यांना खूप गोंधळ असतो. काही वेळा इथंच काहीतरी मेसेज येतात. इथं मेसेज नाही चालत. स्कॅनएफ हे काय आहे? इनपुट घ्यायचं. स्कॅनएफ हे आउटपुट फंक्शन आहे, इनपुट फंक्शन आहे. खूप मुलांचा गोंधळ होतो. इथे सुद्धा इथे फक्त फॉर्मॅट स्पेसिफायर लिहायचे. तो म्हणजे कुठल्या फॉर्मॅटमध्ये इनपुट घ्यायचं कीबोर्ड कडून. स्कॅन फंक्शन, स्कॅन फॉर्मॅटेड इनपुट, फॉर्मॅटेड इनपुट फंक्शन, स्कॅन करणे. स्कॅनर असतो ना, तो स्कॅन करतो बघा. तसं स्कॅनएफ फंक्शन काय करतं? कीबोर्ड कडून येणारं स्कॅन करतं, जे काही येतं ते. तर मग ते कुठल्या फॉर्मॅटमध्ये पाहिजे तुम्हाला? तर नम हा काय आहे? तुम्हाला नम मध्ये व्हॅल्यू ठेवायची ना आता. नम हा इंटिजर व्हेरिएबल आहे. त्यामुळे तिथे तुम्ही काय लिहायचं? %d बुक. इथे स्पेस किंवा स्लॅश टी, तर खूप वेळा स्लॅश एन टाकतात मुलं. स्लॅश एन कधी टाकायचं? मला स्लॅश एन हे फक्त प्रिंटएफ मध्ये. स्लॅश टी काय एस्केप सिक्वेन्सेस हे स्कॅनएफ फंक्शन मध्ये कधीही येणार नाहीत. त्याच्यानंतर कॉमा खूप जण विसरतात, आणि त्याच्यानंतर येणारी व्हॅल्यू, कीबोर्ड कडून येणारी व्हॅल्यू कशामध्ये ठेवायची ते सांगायचंय त्याला तुम्ही. प्रत्येक गोष्ट त्याला तुम्ही सांगता. बरोबर? तर कीबोर्ड कडून येणारी व्हॅल्यू ही कशात ठेवायची आहे? ऍट द ऍड्रेस ऑफ नम, म्हणून एम्परसँड नम. नम मध्ये ठेवा. नमचा ऍड्रेस, नमचा जो ऍड्रेस आहे त्या ऍड्रेसला जा आणि तिथे ठेव. कळलं? जसं तुम्हाला आईनं किल्ली दिली आणि ठेव असं सांगत नाही. ती सांगणार किल्ली त्या त्या बॉक्स मध्ये ठेव, तरच ती पुढच्या वेळी सापडते. बरोबर की? ऍट द ऍड्रेस ऑफ नम. आणि त्याच्यानंतर तुम्ही तो प्रिंट करू शकता. तर %d कुठली व्हॅल्यू? नम. दॅट्स इट. इथे तुम्ही नम मधली व्हॅल्यू प्रिंट करायलाय म्हणून इथे ऍड्रेस नाही पाठवायचा. इथला ऍड्रेस हा ऍड्रेस प्रिंट करण्यासाठी आहे. इथे आपल्याला नमची व्हॅल्यू प्रिंट करायची. तर आता तुम्ही हे कीबोर्ड कडून इनपुट घेणार आहे. इथे काही वॉर्निंग एरर काही नाहीये. पण आता गंमत कशी आहे, तो इथं कर्सर ब्लिंक व्हायला लागलाय. युजरनं काय करायचं ते तुम्ही सांगितलेलं नाही अजून. scanf फंक्शन right now the control is inside the scanf function. Okay? Right now the control is inside the scanf function. Right? त्यामुळे इथे तो इनपुटसाठी वाट बघायला लागलाय. युजरचं इनपुटसाठी वाट बघतोय. कर्सर इज ब्लिंकिंग अँड कर्सर इज टेलिंग यू टू इनपुट समथिंग. कर्सर ज्यावेळी या कन्सोल विंडोवर ब्लिंक करतो त्यावेळी युजरचं इनपुट गरजेचं असतं. फक्त तुम्ही मेसेज दिलेला नाही. प्रोग्रामरनं काय करायचं मेसेजमध्ये दिलेलं नाही. नंबर भरायचा आहे का, नाव भरायचं आहे का, क्रिकेटचा स्कोर भरायचा आहे, काय भरायचं आहे काय, तो मेसेज दिला पाहिजे. ठीक आहे. आता मी 5 भरतो तर तो 5 प्रिंट केला त्यानं. सो बिफोर दॅट म्हणून इथे मी लिहिलंय बघा. यू नीड टू प्रॉम्प्ट द युजर फॉर युजर इनपुट. इथं प्रॉम्प्ट द्यायला पाहिजे. प्रॉम्प्ट म्हणजे काय, परत एक मेसेज दिला पाहिजे युजरला, म्हणून एंटर द नंबर. राईट. आणि इथे काही स्लॅश टी चालतो, स्लॅश एन चालतो. तुम्हाला त्या लाईनला भरून घ्यायचंय का नेक्स्ट लाईनला भरून घ्यायचंय, त्याप्रमाणे तो एस्केप सिक्वेन्स टाकायचा. मी आता त्याच लाईनला भरून घेणार आहे. परत रन करूया. आता काय झालं, एंटर द नंबर हा मेसेज आला बरोबर, आणि हा कर्सर एक कुठे इतका कॅरेक्टर्स पुढे नेऊन ठेवला बघा, 8 स्पेसेस. आता मी इथे नंबर भरतो 25 and that will be printed. Right? So this is how it is executed. तुम्ही स्लॅश एन इथे जर टाकला तर तो कर्सर कुठे जाईल, नेक्स्ट लाईनला जाईल. आता कर्सर नेक्स्ट लाईनला गेला. काही वेळा त्याच लाईनला इनपुट घेणं बरं असतं, काही वेळा नेक्स्ट लाईनला घेणं इनपुट असतं. त्यालाच प्रोग्रामचं डिझाईन म्हणतात. काही ते खुळ्यासारखं प्रोग्राम लिहायचा नाही. त्या वाक्याचं प्रत्येक वाक्य आउटपुटला कसं दिसणार आहे आणि कोणासाठी. मी दुसऱ्या किंवा तिसऱ्या सेशनला सांगितलं तुम्हाला, प्रोग्राम हा युजरसाठी लिहायचा असतो आणि दुसऱ्या प्रोग्रामरसाठी लिहायचा असतो, स्वतःसाठी नाही. म्हणजे माझा हा प्रोग्राम, माझं हे ऍप्लिकेशन कोण वापरणार आहे त्याच्यासाठी, आणि कोणासाठी, माझा हा लिहिलेला प्रोग्राम नंतर जर कोण माझा प्रोग्राम जर वाचणार असेल, माझे सर वाचणार असतील, माझा सुपिरियर वाचणार असेल, सुपिरियर प्रोग्रामर कंपनी मधला, तर त्याला कळायला पाहिजे ना, तुम्ही काय लिहिलंय ते. तुम्हाला काय लिहायला ते तुम्हालाच कळत नसेल तर दुसऱ्याला कळायची शक्यताच कमी. पण समजा तुम्ही लिहिलेलं तुम्हालाच कळतंय फक्त, तर त्याही प्रोग्रामचा काही उपयोग नाही. कळालं. त्यामुळे तुमचा प्रोग्राम हा दुसऱ्या प्रोग्रामरला कळायला पाहिजे आणि युजरला वापरता आला पाहिजे. हे आपलं प्रोग्रामरचं उद्दिष्ट. विथ काहीतरी प्रिंटफ लिहायचं, काहीतरी व्हेरिएबल डिक्लेअर करायचे, काहीतरी एकदा पुढे जायचं, असं याला प्रोग्रामर म्हणतात. आता जी 25 जी प्रिंट होते ती ऍटलिस्ट मेसेज तरी युजरला किंवा नंबर एंटर करा. आता हा जो प्रिंटफ आहे आणि हा प्रिंटफ आहे याच्यात फरक आहे बरोबर आहे. हे प्रिंटफ स्टेटमेंट आणि हे प्रिंटफ स्टेटमेंट या दोन्हीत फरक आहे. हे प्रिंटफ स्टेटमेंट आहे. दिस प्रिंटफ स्टेटमेंट इज फॉर गिव्हिंग द मेसेज टू द युजर. काहीतरी मेसेज देतोय तो की बाबा नंबर भर. आणि हा जो आहे हा काय आहे, हा ऍक्च्युली आउटपुट देतोय. ऍक्च्युली इथे व्हेरिएबल मधली व्हॅल्यू तो प्रिंट करतो. इथे तुम्ही हवं तर असं इथे लिहू शकता, नंबर कंटेंट्स असं. इथे काय तुम्ही लिहाल ते तसंच प्रिंट करताय. मूर्ख असतंय, तर त्याला स्वतःच डोकं चालवता येत नाही. तुम्ही जे सांगाल ते करतं डायरेक्ट. एंटर नंबर म्हटलं समजा 568, तर नंबर कंटेंट 568, दॅट्स इट. So this is how printf and scanf have to be written, right?